Zacian lands the close combat. We see the aggressive pivot into Palkia, able to snipe down and get a very nice running start on energy. The opponent sends out Zacian, and if this opponent don't know about that Hail Mary Fire Blast coverage, they're about to find out. Welcome back to the channel. As you can hear from my voice, I'm feeling somewhat husky today, but just ignore that because today's battle submission is well worth putting up my horrible sounding voice. Today we're taking a look at some battles in the Mega Master League, ironically without a Mega Pokemon on the team. You might ask yourself, how are you going to compensate for the lack of Mega? Well, what you're going to do is run not one, but two Shadow Dragon Legendary Pokemon. Season 24's move rebalance saw a massive rework to the quick move of Dragon Breath, now generating 4 EPT, and my, are we going to need that energy generation today? As look at the moveset on Palkia. We're running Draco and Fire Blast. Something is getting boomed. Shadow Dialga, or Dialga in general, kinda slow to charge moves, or at least it was previously. It kinda reigned supreme on its typing alone. However, now it can actually get to the Iron Head in just 13 turns, and it is quicker than ever. Before we get into the battles, as you can see on the screen, I've got no idea how to pronounce this trainer's IGN, so I reached out to him and he said I can call him Akori. So with all that being said, without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game one, we are off to a tough start. As Zacian stares down Pogo, we say switch into Palkia, and the opponent sends out Mewtwo trainer. It's just an Aqua Tail, I promise. It's just an Aqua Tail. Draco gets no respect. Mewtwo straight in and straight out. Back out comes Pogo, and the opponent is going to have to expend a full Thunder if they want to remove Palkia from the field of play. The opponent does exactly that, but do deplete their energy. We now send out Dialga, and Dialga looks to start loading up on energy. It's interesting the opponent looking to stay in here, as this is an atrocious matchup for them. We fire off the Iron Head bait, forcing the protection. The alarm bells are really starting to ring. Trainer, what the heck do you have hiding in the back? The opponents still stay on the screen, and this Koga is very quickly going to find itself in a range where even a resisted Iron Head should knock out. This will come close. If it doesn't knock out, we should be able to Dragon Breath farm down afterwards, and we do exactly that. Out comes Zacian. We see the banking of the Iron Head and the pivot into the mirror. As we find ourselves in the 1-to-1 shield, both moves hit for neutral. However, likely both trainers going to fire off the Behemoth Blade, not wanting to debuff their own defense. The issue is if you close combat, you're no longer able to survive at one move. So I think here we should personally Behemoth Blade. However, we do opt for the close combat, but that does have the harsh consequence of lowering our own defense, meaning this next move will actually knock us out. It's all down to Dialga to clean up. Is a neutral Iron Head from Shadow Dialga enough to knock out? I'm not sure, but I guess we're about to find out. Iron Head gets them low. Dragon Breath, triple resisted. Unfortunately, unable to Dragon Breath farm down in turn. We get Metal Claw farm down, and that one does end in heartbreaking defeat. In the next battle, Akori sees a much better lead, but this is still somewhat of a scuffed matchup. We are triple resisting the Dragon Breaths, they're resisting our Metal Claws. And to any meaningful damage, we do have to land a close combat. We go right for it, trying to land it through 2 Protect Shield. The first close combat forces the opponent's first protection. We're doubled up and look to throw back to back. Is the opponent willing to 2-shield Gyarados here in the opening matchup? Yes, they are. Akori last second invests the Protect Shield, blocking up the Aqua Tail. We then make the pivot into Palkia and catch a double resisted Aqua Tail. The catch is very nice, but this Gyarados is still very healthy, and these Dragon Breaths are going to tear through our HP. Looks like the opponent more than content to stay in. They farm up to what could be a crunch, fire off the crunch, and in this battle Palkia is just used as a damage sponge. Akori now sends out Dialga. Dialga looking for the farm down, unable to get it before the crunch is reached. We see the final Protect Shield deployed, blocking up the crunch. Then rather than conceding the farm down, the opponent pivots out into Zacian. Zacian going to be greeted with the Iron Head. Iron Head, decent damage, about 45%. We then bank the next Iron Head and then attempt to catch onto Zacian. Catch attempt unsuccessful. The opponent does look to dump their energy. Dialga's now going to have to pull off a very tricky 1v3. We haven't even seen the third yet. Dialga re-enters the arena, fires off the Iron Head. Iron Head removes Zacian from the field of play. Out comes Palkia. Is the opponent going to try to make a catch? I saw the Dragon Tail start. No catch attempt is made. Draco going to be a one-shot. Can we Dragon Breath farm down Gyarados? Before they Dragon Breath farm us down, Dialga holds strong and 1 HP in a dream, baby. We're able to take that game. In the next battle, we see the mirror matchup. I think it's safe to say that Zacian is pretty much on 95% of teams in the Master League. If you don't see it in the lead, it's probably lurking in the back. We fire off the Behemoth Blade, forcing the first protection of the game. Attempt a Behemoth Blade catch onto Palkia. Our catch attempt unsuccessful. The opponent Behemoth Blade regardless, and to be honest, that didn't look all that resisted. For the second consecutive battle, it looks like Palkia being sacrificed to the Pokegods, operating as a team's damage sponge. We send back out Zacian. Zacian wastes no time, fires off the close combat, looking to finally remove the opposing Zacian from the field of play. Out comes the bulky blue whale. We see the pivot into Dialga. The opponent banks some energy before sending out Kyurem, and Kyurem is not going to appreciate this Iron Head, or the Dragon Breaths for that matter. Dialga going to invest Protect Shield, blocking up the Fusion Bolt. Heavily over farm, fire off the Iron Head, and look to remove Kyurem from the field of play. The opponent invests Protect Shield, recognising they're going to want to take as much fast move pressure as they physically can, as Kyogre's Waterfalls won't be doing much. Dialga fires off the Iron Head, picking up the knockout. Can this bulky blue whale Waterfall farm down Dialga before the Draco's reached? They cannot, and have no doubt, Draco Meteor is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we find ourselves in yet another Zacian mirror matchup. Let's see if we look to play it out the same way. You can see we go straight for the Behemoth Blade, and I'm anticipating us, unfortunately, sacrificing my boy Palkia to the Pokegods. However, this opponent actually didn't shield the Behemoth Blade, and it looks like we're going to follow suit and not shield either. The opponent fire off the close combat. We're able to win the lead matchup, and out comes an opposing Palkia. These Dragon Breaths triple resisted. The opponent unable to Dragon Breath farm us down before the close combat's reached, and close combat actually got no respect either. Akori sends out Palkia and actually going to use a shield, unlike our opponent. Oh my days, the opponent full sent a Draco before sending out Kyurem. It looks like we might be going for a fast move beatdown. We could have threw the Draco, but it looks like we're just going to opt for a fast move beatdown strategy. Here comes Dialga. Can we fast move beat this opponent down? The opponent not going to reach two moves. I think it's just going to be a little cheeky tap, 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 and a fast move beat down all the way to the finish. Dialga able to Dragon Breath farm down Kyurem, Dragon Breath farm down Palkia, and we take that game. In the next battle, awful lead. We say switch into Palkia. The opponent banks a boatload of energy, attempt to make a catch onto Solgaleo. Trainer, this might not be the work you're looking to catch. Fire Blast. Bang! There's another one shot. The opponent fucked about. They found out Solgaleo was straight in and straight out. The opponent sends out Palkia. Palkia. Wait, that's a double resisted Aqua Tail, which we survive. Surely they think we're running Aqua Tail. Not Draco. Draco! Oh, go shielded. But this game's over. We send out Dialga. The opponent doesn't want the smoke, and they're going to concede the match. Heading into the next battle. We lead Zacian into Mega Gyarados. We've seen this one play out. Favourable for us, but still somewhat scuffed, especially if the opponent's able to correctly shield up close combats. It looks like, again, we're going to look to farm up to the double CC, and that is definitely the correct play. You don't want to debuff yourself before the opponent dumps some energy. We're now at the double CC. Is the opponent going to two-shield this Gyarados, or are they going to sacrifice it? The first close combat, force the Protect Shield. We weren't quite doubled up. We are able to outpace. To the second close combat, we actually go for a cheeky undercharge, but regardless, the opponent invests 2 Protect Shields, and we see the pivot this time into Dialga. Akori, a 2 to no shield advantage, unwilling to shield up the crunch, and ouch, that did a lot of neutral damage. Last second, we're going to invest a Protect Shield, unfortunately, shielding up an Aqua Tail, but that Aqua Tail probably would have knocked us out, as I believe the opponent got the defense debuff. Dialga fires off the Draco. Draco, massive overkill, removing them from the field of play, and out comes Primarina. Zacian is low, but does have enough health remaining to reach the Behemoth Blade. The opponent go for the catch. Akori banks the energy and sends out Palkia. Palkia still with a shield to hide behind. Going to be shielding up whatever they throw. Oh my days, play rough. Quite a spicy moveset. Trainer, we see your spicy moveset and we raise you our own. We fire off the Fire Blast. Get that Zacian off my screen. Back out comes Primarina, but this game's over. Not entirely sure why the opponent doesn't commit to the full tap-tap, charm down, farm down, but as we've got the move bank, it's irrelevant, would win CMP, and Behemoth Blade is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle. We see another bulky blue whale in the lead position. 2 better response in the back, so we see the instant retreat into Palkia. Palkia farms up, the opponent banks some energy before sending out Palkia's cousin, the Origin form. We full send the Draco. Draco gets no respect. The opponent get one shot vanquished. Back to the Pokeball. Out comes Ho-Oh. These Incinerates are double resisted. Palkia could have fired off the Draco. Actually, we're going to see a shield here. The opponent throw the Brave Bird. This is where you'd love Aqua Tail, as Aqua Tail would be cheaper and would be super effective. Draco, unfortunately, I say unfortunately, does force the Protect Shield. We pivot into Dialga. The opponent reset their debuff and send out Kyogre. My, we are YOLO and Dracos. Left, right, and center. Draco goes unshielded. What the heck is going on here? I don't think I've ever seen so many Draco Meteors YOLO'd in such a short space of time. Poor old Ho-Oh looking to pull off the impossible, but this game's over. We send back out Palkia. Double resisting the Incinerates. We fire off yet another Draco. Is that like number 4 in this battle? Forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield, and we send out Zacian. This is one of Zacian's worst matchups, but the opponent's so incredibly low. We shield at the Sacred Fire, and ironically, gonna resist it, Metal Claw farm down, and take that game. In the next battle, we find ourselves in yet another Zacian mirror match. The opponent goes straight for the close combat right off the bat, and we can see the instant no shield deployed. The opponent likely look to pivot out now and reset their debuff. They do exactly that, sending out Palkia. Palkia going to be greeted with the close combat. Close combat lands for heavy neutral damage, and then we send out our own Palkia. Palkia able to Dragon Breath farm down before the opponent reached the spatial rend. Out comes Mega Gyarados, and we are YOLOing another Draco. No! What the heck? The opponent didn't shield, probably thinking who's going to YOLO a Draco right off the bat. Well, we are trainer. Oh my gosh, Palkia popping off in this battle. Both trainers still have 2 Protect Shields to hide behind. So my top tip of the day is if you see today's featured battle in the Go Battle League, whatever he throws, just shield it. Just invest in Protect Shields. We fire off the Iron Head, forcing the opponent's first Protect Shield. Dialga happy to match Protect Shield. The opponent go for the Behemoth Blade bait, hoping it will change their fate, but I highly doubt it. Dialga able to reach yet another Iron Head. Iron Head forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. Quick switch into Zacian. Zacian able to reach the close combat, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's that opponent. Heading into the next battle, we see Palkia in the lead position. Another pretty scuffed matchup. We are triple resisting the Dragon Breaths, however these Aqua Tails are so incredibly spammy. And if you're able to correctly shield up a close combat, Palkia more than has play here. I really like how today's featured battlers play in this matchup out. So you want to farm up as much energy as you can before debuffing yourself, meaning the Aqua Tails, of course, will do less than they would if you've got harsh defense. We fire off the close combat gets no respect, quick switch into Palkia. Palkia able to snipe down his brother and get a very nice running start on energy. The opponent sends out Zacian. And if this opponent don't know about that Fire Blast coverage, they're about to find out. The opponent shows no respect, get one shot vanquished, back to their Pokeball. Out comes Garchomp, and you can already chalk this one up as a big fat dub. The opponent might have 2 shields to hide behind, but the issue for them is you cannot shield quick moves. This is going to be another very quick, fast move beatdown to the finish. We invest to Protect Shield. The opponent go for the Sand Tomb bait, but that bait is never ever saving Garchomp's fate. We actually end up pivoting out, just playing with our food essentially, throwing the close combat, which does force a Protect Shield. The opponent does look to dump energy as they are on fractional HP. Sand Tomb moves us from the field of play. We fire off the bad manners Draco. Draco Meteor, force the Protect Shield. We're still going to be able to Dragon Breath farm down and take that game. In the next battle, we see an Apex Ho-Oh in the lead. I think that Apex, Ho-Oh and Lugia are some of the coolest looking Pokemon in the game. That little Apex aura is super cool. We save switch into Dialga, baiting out Togekiss. Interestingly, opting for Charm. While Charm has been buffed this season, at least in Great and Ultra League, most people are opting for Peck. And I think the opponent's still going to have to throw. Trainer, you don't get there. Trainer, you do not get there. The opponent looking for that full tap. Charm down, farm down. Unable to get there. They invest both Protect Shields and still lose switch. Oh boy, the opponent's in a really rough spot. We then see the pivot into Palkia with a 2-0 shield advantage. We shield at the Brave Bird. The opponent sends out Dialga. Dialga going to be greeted with the Draco Meteor. Draco Meteor hits for neutral, but have no doubt that's a one-hit KO. Back out comes Ho-Oh. Please tell me we're giving the Bad Banners Fire Blast. Oh no. Oh no. This poor opponent is going to get the ultimate BM as Palkia is going to fire off the resisted Fire Blast, and we take that game with a cheeky screenshot for the road. Heading into the next battle. We lead Zacian into Mega Gyarados. We've seen a Kori like to farm up a boatload of energy before firing off the close combat. I think this is probably a matchup you can bait, as absolutely everyone shielded up this close combat. To this point in the video, we fire off the close combat. Oh, I taught that into existence. This opponent looks to call the bait. Near get one shot. We see the attempted snipe with Palkia. Snipe attempt unsuccessful. The opponent fire off the crunch. continue to stay in, and we are able to Dragon Breath farm down. Oh, baby. Oh, baby, it's boom time. Does this opponent respect the damage? Most have not. Fire Blast! Oh, heartbreak. I was so ready to boom another Zacian. It wasn't meant to be. We pivot back out into the mirror, fire off the close combat on what looks like to be a charge attack priority. And at this point, it looks like a Kobe going to look to 2-shield Dialga, jump on its big back, and look to ride it home. Dialga with a magical 2-to-no shield advantage. But the issue for us here is, unless the opponent close combat us, one Iron Head won't be lethal. The opponent know it, go for the Behemoth Blade bait, not wanting to get knocked out by a single Iron Head. Dialga undeterred, heavily over farms, fires off the Iron Head gets them low, but we are never ever Dragon Breath farming down. Dialga very quickly finds itself now with no shield to hide behind. The opponent once again fire off the Behemoth Blade. Akori heavily over farms, fires off the Iron Head before the close combat's reached. Iron Head removes Zacian from the field of play. Out comes Ho-Oh, and this game is completely over. Shadow Draco Meteor definitely going to pick up the one-hit KO, get that Ho-Oh off my screen, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we are running it back. What are the chances of us landing a close combat through 2 Protect Shields in 2 consecutive battles? Probably unlikely, but I'd love Zacian to get more in on the big boom action. Why the heck would you throw a Crunch? Potentially Crunch Outrage. The opponent pivots out into Ho-Oh, and here comes Palkia. This is definitely going to be a scenario where we're actually going to miss not having Aqua Tail. Another debuff themselves. A single Aqua Tail would easily be lethal. Now we're going to have to full send a Draco Meteor. Really surprised to see the opponent invest a Protect Shield here. Of course, I don't know our moveset, but if we had Aqua Tail, we'd just outpace him to 2 moves. Have the opponent able to flip this in the 1-shield scenario. We send out Dialga, and Dialga looks to start loading up on energy. Gyarados likely to return. And you already know that our featured battler is going to look to YOLO the Draco, but unfortunately for us, we're going to get outpaced. They're going to reach the Crunch first. We see the final Protect Shield deployed, blocking up the incoming Crunch. Dialga going to look to overfarm. Not by much. I was expecting a bit more of an overfarm, but we fire off that Draco. Draco Meteor sneaks through the Protect Shield, picking up the one-hit KO. The opponent sends out Kiram. Once again, we are full sending a Draco. This is debuff, but has to force the final protection. It does exactly that. We give the opponent that wham, bam, combo play. Serve up the Big Mac and the fries. Behemoth Blade. Going to pick up the one-hit KO, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see another Koga in the lead position. We save switch into Palkia. Unfortunately, Palkia gets outpaced to a potential Moonblast before that Fire Blast is reached. Heartbreakingly, no big boom on this flower. We can now send back out Zacian and look to load up on energy. Potentially we can Metal Claw farm all the way down, but now they've got Chilling Water, they're going to continually debuff us, which does mean this farm down might be problematic. The opponent already at the second Chilling Water. Now we're double debuffed. I think we're going to have to throw. We heavily overfarm, do look to throw the close combat, looking to preserve some energy. Close combat, despite being resisted, will pick up the knockout. We bank our energy, pivot into Dialga, and out comes Primarina. Oh man, in the 2 shields, this looks rough. Potentially we can reach 3 Iron Heads, but it's not looking promising. Charm now generates more energy. It does less fast move pressure, but you can see the squishy Dialga not tanking these charms particularly well. Unfortunately, we don't force the final Protect Shield either. I think if we actually force both Protect Shields, Zacian would have a slim chance of winning this battle. The opponent tanked the next Iron Head. We're unable to Dragon Breath farm down, and this one is going to end in heartbreaking defeat. GG's that opponent. Tough team composition for us. Heading into the next battle, and we are looking to bounce back. We are off to a good start, leading Zacian into Mega Latios. Of course, Latios can hit for neutral with that Aura Spear. The opponent farming up a boatload of energy. Huh? Hello? Why wouldn't you shield? What are you expecting us to throw? Why would we close combat you? You're a psychic type. I'm so confused with that play. I'm even more bamboozled now as they actually had 2 things in the back that resist steel. So why would you not just say switch into one of them 2 Pokemon? This battle is already looking doomed for our opponent. They did correctly shield up the Draco Meteor, but then throw a double resisted Surf Bait. We reach another Draco. If the opponent shields this, they're just going to get Dracoed by our second dragon. Speaking of which, it enters the arena, and we all know how this one's going to end. Mr. Opponent, please top left. Have some mercy on Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh re-enters the arena. If the opponent wants that work, Dialga about to give it to him. The Draco's locked Unloaded Ho-Oh straight in and straight out. We're going to Dragon Breath farm down Kyogre, and we will be emerging victorious. Heading into the next battle, we see Mega Rayquaza in the lead position. On paper, we're going to fully wall this thing. But I'm fairly confident that a single resisted Dragon Ascent would probably hurt, as Rayquaza has a monstrous attack stat and that's a pretty hard hitting move. It's base 70 for 150 damage. Oh, we call the triple resisted break and swipe bait. That is savage. Let's see if the opponent's learnt the lesson. Oof. I knew it hit hard, but I didn't expect it to hit that hard, leaving Zacian deep in the red health range. We reach yet another Behemoth Blade, forcing the opponent's final protection. We pivot out into Palkia. The opponent sends out an unshielded Zacian. Oh, trainer. Poor old Zacian about to get that Fire Blast to the face. Zacian straight in and straight out. Palkia picks up yet another one-hit KO. Out comes Eternatus. No, we get there. I thought we were going to get farmed down. Palkia says no, reaches yet another Draco. Back-to-back booms for Palkia. Unfortunately, Palkia unable to sweep the team, but Dialga re-enters the arena. We end up Metal Claw farming down because why bloody not? And we take that game. And much to my disappointment, that is just about going to wrap things up for today's Shoutcast. A huge thank you to our featured battler, Akori, for bringing us, without a doubt, one of the craziest Master League battle submissions you'll ever see here on the YouTube platform. Find me another PvP video with more Dracos and Fire Blasts landed than this. I bet you can't. But with all that being said, if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you'd like your battles featured on my channel, a link to a battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.